People think psychopaths are loud. They imagine someone obvious, wild eyes, sudden violence, a stranger with a knife in a dark alley. But the most dangerous person I ever met said thank you more than anyone I know. His name was Rio. We met in our second year at university in Tokyo, when I switched seminars and realized too late that everyone already had their little friend groups. After the first awkward class, I was shoving my notebook into my bag, trying not to look like I was about to eat lunch alone again, when someone tapped my shoulder. "You dropped this," a voice said. I turned. A guy with neat hair and a clean hoodie was holding out my student ID. His smile was small and careful, like he didn't want to scare me. "Thanks," I said. "I didn't even notice." He shrugged. "That's why I gave it back." He walked away before I could say anything else. Later that day, I found out he'd quietly picked up everyone else's dropped pens, pushed into loose chairs, moved a bag before someone tripped. Not in a showy way. No big "hey, watch out" moment. Just small, constant corrections. Our professor loved him. "If everyone were like Rio," he said once, "I'd have an easy life." He said it as a joke, but Rio looked genuinely pleased, like a child being told he'd drawn inside the lines perfectly. I didn't think psychopath then. I thought nice guy. You can't see the teeth the first time they smile. We started talking more after he saved me a second time. I'd pulled 3 all-nighters in a row for a project and almost fell asleep on the station stairs. My foot slipped, ankle twisted, and I pitched forward into open air. Before gravity finished its sentence, a hand grabbed the strap of my backpack and yanked me back. My knees hit the step. My heart hit my throat. "Careful," Rio said behind me. "This station has too many stairs to die on the first one." He laughed like it was a small joke. My legs were shaking too hard to laugh back. "Seriously," he said, his expression turning soft. "You okay?" "Yeah, I managed." "Thanks." Again. He hesitated, then nodded as if he'd made a decision. "Actually, I'm going the same way," he said. "Want to grab coffee? There's this place near campus that does decent espresso. You look like you might collapse before third period." It sounded like kindness. Maybe it was. We went. He asked questions, the way people on self-help podcasts say you should, open-ended, attentive. He remembered details, too. My part-time job at the convenience store. The way I hated group projects because I always ended up doing all the work. He told me about his own job, at a call center that handled sensitive issues. "Like complaints?" I asked. "Like, people on the edge of things," he said vaguely. "Angry, desperate, embarrassed. My job is to keep them on the phone long enough for help to find them, or keep them calm enough not to do something irreversible." "That sounds intense," I said. He shrugged. "I like patterns. You'd be surprised how similar people are when they lose control." He said it casually, stirring too much sugar into his coffee. I didn't notice the first red flag. He hadn't grabbed my arm when I fell. He'd grabbed my backpack strap. He'd been walking 2 steps behind me, perfectly positioned, like he'd expected me to fall exactly when I did. It became a joke between us. "You saved my life, I owe you one." The thing is, Rio never forgot a debt. One afternoon, I was late to seminar and snuck in as the professor was handing out assignment topics. All the good ones were already taken, interesting case studies, companies that actually existed, cool tech. "You can partner with me," Rio offered. "I kept your name when the professor asked for pairs." It was thoughtful. It was also a little strange that he'd assumed I'd say yes. We worked well together, though. Rio was organized in that frightening way where every file had a name, every note had a color, every deadline was broken down into micro-deadlines. When I slacked off, he never scolded me. "You're tired," he'd say. "I get it. I can take this part." He made it sound like kindness. It was kindness. Until it wasn't. A week before the presentation, he messaged me. "Can you print the slides and bring them tomorrow?" I accidentally used up my quota. No problem, I wrote back. When I got to the campus print room, the system wouldn't read my card. Already used your limit, the staff said. Presentation season, right? Happens a lot. I stood there, sweating, imagining the professor's face when I had to explain. 10 seconds later, Rio called. Hey, he said. You're in the print room, right? I stared at the ceiling. How do you know that? I asked. Where else would you be right now? He replied lightly. Don't worry. I printed backup copies yesterday. Thought something might go wrong. He met me outside the room and handed me a neat stack of stapled pages. You're a lifesaver, I said, half laughing with relief. He looked at me for a second, then smiled. Looks like we keep saving each other, he said. That's good. It means we're connected. He tapped his temple. Mutual awareness, he added, as if that explained anything. I only started saying psychopath in my head after the accident. Not mine. Our seminar mate, Kana. She was the kind of person who filled the room without trying, loud, funny, incapable of whispering. She made the professor laugh, got away with late assignments, organized karaoke nights even in exam week. Everyone liked her. Everyone except Rio. He never said anything outright. But his jaw tightened when she spoke over him. His pen tapped faster when she interrupted the professor with a joke. Once, after she left the table in the cafeteria, he watched her go and said softly, "People like that never listen until they hit a wall." Like what? I asked. He blinked, then smiled as if he hadn't realized he'd spoken aloud. Nothing, he said. Just thinking about patterns again. Forget it. 2 weeks later, the wall arrived. Literally. It was raining. Finals week. Everyone was caffeinated to the edge of psychosis. I'd stayed late at the library and was about to leave when I got a notification in the group chat. Did you hear about Kana? Accident at the crosswalk by East Gate. Ambulance and everything. My stomach dropped. By the time I got there, the street was half blocked by police tape. Kana's bike lay on its side, wheel bent, a trail of scattered pens and beauty products leading from the crosswalk to the curb. A delivery truck idled nearby, hazard lights blinking like a heartbeat. The driver sat on the curb, shaking, his face gray. She just came out of nowhere, he kept saying. The light was green for me. I swear, it was green. Witnesses argued about who had the right of way. Some said Kana had looked at her phone. Others swore the truck had sped up to beat the yellow. Rio stood in the crowd, umbrella closed, hair plastered to his forehead. You came, he said when he saw me. I thought you might. Is she? Alive, he said. Broken leg. Lots of blood. Good video, if someone was filming. I stared at him. Good video? I repeated. He blinked rain out of his eyes. Sorry. Wrong word. I meant strong, imagery. People remember blood better than warnings. She'll be more careful now. The driver might lose his job, I snapped. Or worse. He tilted his head. Shouldn't have tried to beat the light, he said mildly. Natural consequence. The world nudges stupid people. Sometimes it nudges hard. I opened my mouth, closed it. He looked back at the crosswalk. You know what's strange, he said quietly. That signal was always a little too fast. I timed it last semester. Cars got 15 seconds of green. Pedestrians used to get 9. Barely enough for older people to cross. He smiled faintly. Last month, the timing changed, he added. Now pedestrians get 12. Much fairer. So? I said. So, he said, I filed a complaint. Attached data. A proposal. But until something happened, the city ignored it. He nodded toward the bent bike. Now they won't, he said. Are you saying you wanted this to happen? I whispered. No, he said. I predicted something like this would happen. There's a difference. And when you're right, people listen. He looked at me, eyes bright in the neon-reflected rain. You want a world with fewer kinda accidents? He asked. Then you have to allow one kinda accident to mean something. Otherwise it's just wasted pain. He spoke like he was explaining a math proof. I walked away before he finished. That night, lying awake in my room, I heard a thud from the wall we shared. Then the soft scrape of something heavy being dragged across the floor. For the first time, I thought about the old suitcase I'd seen in his closet. For the first time, I locked my door. After the accident, Rio's kindness sharpened. He started checking on people more often. Hey, you look exhausted, he'd tell a classmate. Maybe don't ride your bike home tonight. Take the train. Fewer variables. Don't sit on the outside seat in the library, he'd say to me. People bump into you more, you drop things. Take the inside. He was always right. Once, ignoring him, I sat on the outside seat anyway. 20 minutes later, someone bumped my chair and my laptop almost slid to the floor. See, he said, picking it up for me with a small smile. Patterns. I began to feel like I was living in a maze he designed. He walked people away from wet floors, broken stairs, suspicious strangers. And when someone ignored him, he watched them with a faint, hungry concentration, as if waiting to see if reality would punish them in his place. Sometimes it did. Sometimes it didn't. Those times, he looked almost disappointed. The night I finally understood what he was, the power went out. A summer thunderstorm rolled over the city, shaking our old apartment building like a cardboard box. Around midnight, the lights died with a pop. The hallway emergency lamps flickered on, casting everything in sickly yellow. My phone buzzed in the dark. Power out? It was Rio. Yeah. I wrote back. Emergency lights on though. You good? He replied instantly. Come over. This hallway makes weird noises when the building moves. I'm collecting them. Normally, I would have ignored him. After months of near misses and accidents, I had been slowly inching away from him, answering messages slower, making excuses. But the word collecting snagged on something in my brain. I opened my door. The hallway was empty. Rio's door was half open, a slice of dim light spilling out. Hey, he called softly. Come in. Careful, floors uneven near the threshold. Old building. I stepped over the threshold. His room looked normal at first glance, bed, desk, bookshelves. A candle burned on the desk, flickering over neat stacks of notes. Then I saw the wall. It was covered in sticky notes. Dozens. Maybe hundreds. Each one had a name, a date, a short description. Kana, crosswalk, leg. Library girl, falling books, no injury. U, station stairs, prevented. My stomach lurched. What is this? I whispered. Patterns, he said, as if it were obvious. Near incidents. Choices. Warnings given, warnings ignored. Who changes behavior afterward, who doesn't? He picked a note off the wall and held it up to the candlelight. This one's you, he said. That day you almost dropped your laptop. You changed after that. Started listening more. Sat further from edges. Good subject. Subject, I repeated numbly. He nodded. I told you. I work in safety. But the official data is useless. It only counts what happened, not what almost happened, so I collected my own. He gestured at the wall. I help where I can, he went on. I nudge people away from stupid deaths. And when I can't, I at least make sure something useful comes from it. He smiled, but there was no warmth in it now. Pain without pattern is a waste, he said. I took a step back. My shoulder bumped something. The suitcase. Old, black, the handle wrapped in layers of tape. It sat by the closet, unzipped a few centimeters. A faint metallic smell leaked from the gap, like rust and something else. "What's in there?" I asked. He tilted his head. "Evidence," he said, "of how messy things were before I started paying attention." Lightning flashed outside, illuminating the room for a split second. In that flash, I saw what lay on his desk. Not just notes. Printed screenshots. News articles about accidents. Crime reports. Photos from CCTV of people seconds before something bad happened. And in several of them, half hidden in the background, was him. Carrying a box past a warehouse exit. Standing at a train platform pillar, watching someone lean over the yellow line. Walking behind a girl on a narrow sidewalk. "Did you, 'cause these?" I whispered. He dragged one finger down a column of dates. "'Cause is a big word," he said. "I prefer noticed or didn't interfere. Intervention is a resource. You have to choose where to spend it." "You let Kana get hit," I said. "I warned the city," he replied calmly. "They ignored your professor's emails, my data, the old people's complaints. They listened to the broken bones." "You watched her," I said. "You watched and waited." He shrugged. "Someone has to keep track," he said. "Your eyes were closed. Everyone else was busy laughing at something else. So I watched." He took a step toward me. "Don't worry," he added. "You're one of the ones I usually save. You're cooperative. You learn from small pain. That makes you valuable." The way he said valuable made my skin crawl. "And if I stop cooperating?" I asked. He smiled. "Then you become useful in a different way," he said. Something creaked in the hallway. The building shifted in the storm, wood groaning. Rio glanced at the ceiling, then at me. "There's a support beam right above your room," he said conversationally. "Rotten, probably. The landlord keeps delaying repairs. If it fell, no one would be surprised. Old building, big storm." I felt suddenly aware of the thin ceiling over my bed. "You wouldn't," I said. "I don't push things," he replied. "I just don't always hold them up." He stepped closer. "You owe me," he said softly. "Stairs. Library. Group work. I've been keeping you away from edges for a long time, you know." He reached past me and tapped the suitcase. "It's very easy for people to fall into places where no one hears them," he murmured. "Basements. Construction sites. Old riverbanks. If you don't want to be one of those statistics, it would be smart to stay on my good side." I backed toward the door. The storm howled outside. "Why are you telling me this?" I asked. "Why not keep pretending?" He thought about it. "Because you already see more than most," he said. "That makes you dangerous or useful." "I haven't decided yet." He gave me that first day careful smile. "And because I wanted to watch what you do with the information," he added. "Will you run to the police? Post about me online? Move out quietly in the middle of the night? Each choice is data." He gestured toward the wall. "You're going to get a second note," he said. "One way or another." I stepped into the hallway, heart pounding. "Don't come into my room again," I managed. "I've never been in your room," he said. "That's the point. You feel safe there because you think I need to enter to change something." He tilted his head. "Look up before you sleep," he advised. "Listen when the building moves. And remember, if I wanted you gone, I'd never have grabbed your backpack on those stairs." Lightning flashed again. For a heartbeat, his face was a flat silhouette. Then the emergency lights flickered and went out completely. Darkness pressed in. When they came back a second later, his doorway was empty. His door was closed. The notes on the wall were hidden. Only the smell of old dust and candle smoke lingered. I moved out 2 weeks later. Not suddenly. Not obvious. I told the landlord my parents were sick, that I needed to go home. I lied to Rio's face and watched his eyes almost, but not quite, narrow. "Of course," he said. "Family first. Send me your new address. I'll visit if I'm in the area." "I'll think about it," I said. He laughed. "You always think," he said. "That's what I like about you." I didn't give him my new address. I blocked his number. I changed my route to campus, avoided the crosswalk by East Gate, never stayed in the library until closing time. But sometimes, standing on a train platform, I feel the air shift. I look up at the CCTV dome above me and imagine a pair of bright, interested eyes behind the tint. Watching. Taking notes. Deciding whether a little push might teach someone a lesson. Last month, I saw his name in an email. Mandatory safety training session. Guest speaker, Rio, surname, risk consultant. He's moving up now. Designing drills. Writing evacuation plans. Teaching companies how to avoid preventable accidents. Everyone says he's amazing. Such a good man, they say. So calm in a crisis. I didn't go to the session. But the next day, I found a sticky note in the bottom of my bag. Not in my handwriting. Just checking your patterns. No one else could have put it there. You might think I'm paranoid. Maybe I am. Or maybe I just finally understand that the scariest monsters are the ones who look at a collapsing ceiling, a speeding truck, a slippery stairwell, and see not tragedy, but an opportunity to collect information. If you ever meet someone who remembers every little near miss in your life, who just happens to be there when you almost fall, who keeps a private list of close calls like they're trophies, don't call them a hero. Call them what they are. A favor collector. And be very careful how much you owe.